All right, so I have some announcement to make before we have Whitney speak on the team call, which I'm super excited about. A lot of you guys already know, but Morning Meltdown will be available on BOD on October 1st. So that means, obviously when we have a new program come out, we share with everybody, we talk about it, we talk about the challenge pack, signing them up and everything, but do not forget, especially with the launch of 6 weeks of the work, and a lot of you guys are doing a good job of both sharing 6 weeks of the work and Morning Meltdown and talking about the sprint versus the marathon, but make sure that you're sending emails out to all of your Beachbody customers. Make sure that you are checking in with everybody, like sending messages, posting in your challenge group and letting them know, because sometimes we get so caught up with bringing new people in that we forget about getting our people who are already there. And that's honestly like what you have to make sure you're also doing, because you can bring new people in, but if you get new people in and then after the first month they constantly quit and you're not reinvigorating your already customers. And that's the beautiful thing about how Beachbody is we're always having new products and programs and things that people can get into. So even if they're not a new customer, if they've been a part of your groups, if they've been a part of something, I get people all the time who like stop being in my groups, or maybe they were even just a discount coach and they're inactive. I reach out to them and I always use like either a new program coming out or like a program going on BOD for the first time as a way to kind of check in with them. So make sure that you do that. What I'm kind of doing is, so again, like you're posting on Instagram and you're sharing about like the sprint versus the marathon and all of that stuff. Make sure you're also doing that as a kind of invite / follow-up to all of the people that you've already been talking about. So do it with new people, but also make sure that you're doing it with people, who have already been in your groups. Pumpkin spice is sold out. I know that Amanda posted it in the team page, but it says that they're trying to put it back in stock. They were saying it like we have it all the time. So I was surprised that they were like trying to put it back in stock. I was like, weren't they just selling out when they sold out? But it looks like they're trying to get it back in there. So if you missed out on kind of the first wave, when they say it's back in stock, check the back office, check coach, news. Again, reach out to everybody who maybe discount coaches, people who are inactive, customers, all of that stuff. Obviously 6 weeks of the work is coming out on Monday, which is super exciting. If you haven't tried the sample workout, make sure you do. I'm planning on trying that tomorrow. And then we kind of talked about this before, but just a reminder, anyone, customer or coach, new or old, who purchases a challenge pack at $160 or a completion pack at least $130 will get a code to get access for free to 6 weeks of the work. So like you can purchase 6 weeks of the work digitally for like $37 or something like that. So when you're sending your invites to people who may not be interested in 6 weeks of the work or just yet, you can talk to them about, hey, if you purchase a challenge pack this month, you'll automatically be able to get access to it early, because if you wait and you buy a challenge pack, even in like October or later in October or November, you still won't be able to get access to 6 weeks of the work if you don't want to pay for it until April 20th. That's a long time. So somebody's like, oh, I'm not ready to do 6 weeks of the work right now, but I maybe want to do it in January. They're going to have to purchase it. So kind of make sure you're explaining that to them. That might be something that you might want to explain in a voice message. And then I saw in the back office, which is exciting, that they're extending the brand new Coach 3 promo code thing till the end of December. So the end of the year. So this is another thing. When you're talking to people about coaching, and this I wouldn't necessarily include in the invite, or maybe you can post about it, talk about it on your story in some way, but you need to let coaches know, because I know if I was a new coach, I would want to hear, hey, if I join, I'm going to already be able to give out promo codes to people. That might help build their confidence a little bit, knowing that they'll be able to give those out. So those are all the announcements I have for you guys. Sorry, I'm like sick and like sniffling. I'm glad I'm not talking, because I would just be like.
Oh, I have a question for you real quick.
Yeah.
This is what I was trying to ask when the thumb wasn't working. But I know you said you're waiting to do 6 weeks of the work. What program are you planning to do between end of Morning Meltdown 100 and start of 6 weeks of the work? Because I know a lot of other people are also kind of doing the same thing we are.
It's only going to be a week. So I'm just going to, whenever I have if I have more than a week, I'll do something. But typically like because it'll only be just next week, because with the workouts I have, I will probably finish MM100 like this weekend. So right on Monday up until that, I will probably do like some Shaun T workouts or just like mess around with that. But I personally am not going to do anything in particular. Maybe I would recommend, if you feel like you need a bit of a break going into that, I've been off for a little bit, so I don't feel like I need a break. Maybe doing like just some of the yoga workouts, or trying a program that you've never tried before, just like trying the workouts and finding a way to share about that and say, maybe you make it like next week is like your sample week, and you're going to figure out what workout you want to do next. Obviously we have a bunch of workouts coming out, so you might not have any time, but you know what I mean? Like just sample some different things that you can share on your page and say, I tried this one today, I tried that one today, but I don't know about anything else in particular. That's usually just what I do. So, okay. Yeah, Shanti, I mean, if you want to try something crazy, I think Insanity Asylum would be good, but you don't want to jump into like the second month of that program because you probably hurt yourself. But I'll probably do like a sample workout of 6 weeks of the work, and like do, I can't think of what I was going to say. The fit test. I'll probably try that before I do the program as well. So that'll at least take up 2 days. Okay, so sorry for all of the talking. Whitney, I'm so excited to have her speak on the call. She's an OG. She's been a part of the team for like 500 years, basically. She's a mom. She's awesome, and I'm excited to have her speak on fixing her mindset. So it's all you, girl. I'm going to unmute you. Take it away. And if you could, before you go into it, just to let people get to know you a little bit better, just kind of share like how you stumbled into kind of, you know, National Wake Up style type of thing, like how you got into Beachbody and your story with that, and then you can go on everything else.
Okay, well, hi everybody. I'm Whitney. I've been a coach since 2015, and basically, when I have a 5-year-old son. When I had my son, one of my best friends started doing 21-day fix, like the week after he was born. So while I was going through, you know, like all that postpartum new mom crap, I was watching my best friend do 21-day fix and like totally kill it. And so as I was getting ready to like, okay, I feel like I know what I'm doing a little bit as a mom now, and I'm ready to like lose the baby weight, I immediately like did 21-day fix because I had been watching her have so much success with it. And so I didn't sign up to be a coach at first. I wasn't even like in a challenge group or anything. I just like bought the program back in the old days when you had to buy like actual DVDs for one program. And then you had like the Shakeology commercial with Tony Horton after every single workout. And if you are new to Beachbody, you don't know what I'm talking about. But like, that's what I started with. And I did not get Shakeology at first. And after like 4 or 5 months, I ended up trying Shakeology and was like, oh, this is the big deal that everybody makes about this stuff. Like, I get it now. And so a girl that I worked with was like, oh, hey, if you like Shakeology, you should sign up to be a coach. I'm also a coach. Like, you should just sign up under me. And I was like, okay. And I had no idea like about any of it. And so I kind of just like stumbled into coaching and really just signed up for the discount, and then realized, you know, people were asking me what I had been doing because I lost like a significant amount of weight. I lost like 60 pounds. And I was like, well, if people are asking me what I'm doing and I signed up to be a coach anyway, then I should just like be a coach and make this an actual thing. So fast forward now, I used to be a full-time teacher. I was a high school English teacher, and now I'm a stay-at-home mom, and now I have 2 kids, not just one. And I'm postpartum again, like starting that whole thing over. So I'm kind of like, in a way, I'm right back where I started. And over the past, I'm talking about mindset tonight. That's something that I've had to work on for a really long time over these past, 4.5-ish years now. A lot, because just a few like highs and lows of me and my business. I started, within my first month of being a coach, I became an Emerald coach. I was a success starter and earned a free ticket to Summit. I am a Success Club All-Star. I hit Success Club 5 for 12 months in a row and got to go to the core VIP shopping experience the first time I went to the Summit, and it was super awesome. And I'm a Diamond coach, and like all these great, awesome goals that I accomplished within like the first year of my coaching business. But at the same time, I hit Success Club All-Star, and literally the next month I did not hit Success Club. So like, I know what it's like to hit Success Club and be super consistent. And I also know what it's like to be at Success Club 0 for a month and be like, what the F happened? Like, what happened? I don't understand how this was to be. Also some, a couple other things I've had. My coach that I signed up with is not a coach anymore. And that happened like a month after I signed up. Like, there have been a lot of highs and a lot of lows, and I've had to really dig deep into my mindset and my attitude and my habits, basically, to stick it out. Because for me, I love Beachbody, and it completely changed my life. Like, I was a completely different person in a really negative way before Beachbody. And so quitting has never been an option for me. Not doing it has never been an option for me. So I've had to kind of navigate all of these really great highs and really low lows and figure out how I'm going to get through it and how I'm going to keep going. And so that's really kind of what I'm going to talk about tonight. And where this came from more recently, is after I had my daughter. She was born in February. She's 7 months old. I gave myself, some time off, because obviously baby, and I have 2 kids now and not just one. And it was like, I don't know what this is going to be like. So I didn't really worry about the business side of things, because I wanted to give myself time to adjust to having 2 kids and a baby again. But when I was like, okay, I feel like I know what I'm doing a little bit, like we're past the super hard part of brand new baby, I'm ready to jump back into it. I had a really hard time getting back into it. I had a really hard time getting back into the business. I had a really hard time sitting down and doing anything. And it took me months to figure out why. And kind of over the summer and going to Summit, I realized that the reason that I was having such a hard time getting back into it and just sitting down and just doing the work is because I had completely lost all belief in myself and in my ability to accomplish anything with this business. And I had lost the confidence that I was capable of doing anything, and that I was like, did I really want to do anything? Like, I was struggling with all of this stuff and all of this like mental junk. And I think part of that was like postpartum hormones, but I think that part of it too was I had gotten out of the habit of doing the things. And so when I got out of the habit of doing the things, I lost the belief that I could do the things, because I wasn't doing them. And I hadn't been doing them for a while because I was focusing on my family, which is what I needed to be doing. But I had to recognize that and figure out how I was going to get back. So I want to talk a little bit about what I've been doing and some mindset changes that I've had to make recently, but also like over the course of my whole 4.5 years of being a coach. So I had to recognize first and foremost that the way that I was feeling didn't actually have anything to do with me and who I truly am. It just had to do with what I wasn't doing. I think it's a John C. Maxwell book. Maybe it's somebody that says it, like, do the thing and then get the power. You have to do the thing if you want to get the confidence. If you want to be, good at inviting, you have to do the inviting. If you want to be amazing at push-ups, you have to do push-ups, right? Like, you have to actually do it. And I wasn't actually doing it. And I had to just recognize, like, I feel this way because I'm out of practice, not because I'm a crappy coach, not because, I'm in a new mom fog, not because I suck, not because I'm a failure. Like, none of that is actually true. This is just about me being out of practice. And when you kind of flip your perspective and take it off of yourself, it's not about really who you are. It's just about what you're doing or what you're not doing. That kind of took a little bit of pressure off of me, because then it became not, I have to completely change who I am. It just became, I have to just do these things. And that felt a little bit easier for me. So that was the first thing that I had to do. Is it's not about me. It's not really about who I am. It's just about what I'm doing or what I'm not doing. So that was the first thing that I did. The second thing that I did was I reached out to the team. I posted a really not super in depth, but still a vulnerable message in the team leaders Voxer, and said, like, I need help. I need to do some personal development. This is what I'm struggling with. Like, what do you guys recommend? And so I think sometimes we trick ourselves into believing that we are the only ones that are struggling with whatever it is that we're struggling with. If we're having a hard time hitting Success Club, we kind of feel like we're the only ones that are having a hard time right now hitting Success Club. If we're getting ghosted by everybody that we're talking to, we feel like we're the only ones who are getting ghosted. And I have learned that if I am just a little vulnerable and I share what I'm struggling with other people on the team, then I'm not the only one that's struggling with those things. Literally every single other person is struggling with the exact same things. And I think sometimes I trick myself into feeling like, well, like Alexis Doss, oh my gosh, like when she became a Beachbody coach, like they handed her a whole business center that already had like 500 customers, and like she bought an Instagram profile that had 15,000 followers. Like that's just how she started, right? Like I have to start from scratch. So it's not going to be the same thing for me because I have to like do all this stuff. No, that's not how that works, right? Like every single coach that we see, that we look up to, that we're like, oh man, like I wish that I hope that I can build my business to be like that person's business. They all started with 0 followers on Instagram. They all started with 0 customers. They all started with 0 coaches, right? Like they get ghosted just like me. They are afraid to send invites sometimes. They have days where they don't feel like doing it. And I get stuck in feeling like it's just me because I'm a crappy coach. And that's just not true. So I had to stop letting myself believe that I'm the only one struggling with this, that, or whatever. Everybody else does too. And when I reach out to the team, and not just in like a one-on-one message with one person that I'm comfortable with, not just with my personal sponsor coach, but like on the team page, that helps me know that I'm not alone, but it also helps everybody else on the team know that they're not alone either. Because I know when I've seen other people post like, okay guys, I'm struggling with this one thing, or even recently, like a couple of posts that have been like, where are you guys at with Success Club? And so many other people just like me are at Success Club 0. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's not just me, right? Like I'm not alone. So let's all help each other. Let's all figure out how we can try different things, what different things we can try. Like being vulnerable for me and reaching out in a public way has been really helpful to know that I'm not a crappy coach. It's not just me, it's everybody else. So when I reached out and made that, like, please help me, give me a personal development book to read, Alexis recommended a book called Loving What Is. I'm about to have a coughing fit. I'm so sorry. And I brought an empty water bottle downstairs with me. That was smart. But anyway, so I read this book, and basically the biggest takeaway that I've had from this book so far is that the writer talks about the idea of when you start thinking like, I should be doing this, or I should be in this place and I'm not, and that makes me feel like a failure, whatever, that should or that should not does not exist. That's not a real thing. That's something that I have created in my own head. So when I hit diamond and I dropped rank back down to emerald, I spent so much time thinking I shouldn't be at emerald. I should be at diamond. I shouldn't still be, below my lifetime rank. I should be a 3-star diamond by now. And I stalled myself in my business and didn't do the work that I needed to do to actually grow to where I wanted to be, because I was spending so much time and so much energy like punishing myself for not being where I thought I should be. And in this book, Loving What Is, she talks about like, just let that go. That's not reality. That's not a real thought. You're telling yourself a lie. Like you should be a 3-star diamond. Guess what? You're not. That's not reality. So that you shouldn't be a 3-star diamond. That doesn't exist. Like let it go. And that really has helped me focus on right now. Like I can't do anything about the past 7 months of my business, right? Like I can't do anything about what happened in 2018. I can't do anything about what happened in 2017. I can't do anything about what happened yesterday. All I can do is right now. What can I do today to move forward? So one thing that I think a lot of us do, because I feel like I feel like I'm a fairly normal person. So if I'm thinking something, like probably not, I'm not the only one. I know that I'm not the only one who feels like I shouldn't be at this rank. I should be here. I should be doing this. I should be already at Success Club because it's the 24th of the month, whatever. Like, stop thinking those kinds of thoughts. You shouldn't be in that place because you're not. And that's okay. That doesn't make me a failure. It doesn't make you a failure or a crappy coach. That just is it's a fact, right? Like, take the emotion out of it and just focus on right now, today. What can you do to move yourself forward today? And kind of going along with this, a mindset shift that I had to make too is to stop looking at other people, especially other coaches that started at around the same time as me, or even like later than me, because everybody's business is in a different spot and everybody's lives are totally different. And I do a really great job at comparing myself to people whose lives are completely different from mine. Comparing my business and the way that I work my business as a stay-at-home mom of 2 kids, comparing that to somebody who doesn't have any kids is not really fair to me or my mental health because those are just completely different things, right? Like, a stay-at-home mom who has a kid who still naps for 2 hours a day is totally different than a single person who works 12-hour shifts, right? Like, I had to stop looking at what other people were doing and thinking like, oh my gosh, they're so much better than me because look at all these other things that they're doing. And like, I need to work for 4 hours a day too. I need to figure out a way, I've got to get up at 2. I'll just sleep for 2 hours a day. And that's just fine because I've got to work my business. Like, I had to be okay with, this is my life situation right now. This is where I am. This is what I can do. So how can I make the most of the time that I do have, and stop comparing myself to what other people are doing, because those other people just aren't me and their lives don't look like mine, and that's okay. So I've had to really focus in on myself a lot, which sometimes is really easy for me to do and sometimes it's really hard for me to do. But I've just had to really embrace, like, this is my life right now. And I feel like all of us kind of need to do this sometimes with our business. Like, this is what my life looks like right now. This is what I want to do with my business. This is the time that I have to work my business. So what are the most important things for me to do? I don't have time, me personally, I don't have time to make like amazing freemiums to send to people to get their emails on an email list. Like, that's just not a priority for me right now, because it can't be. I could spend a bunch of time doing that, but then I'm not sending invites. So my business isn't going to go anywhere, right? Like, that just doesn't make sense. So you have to really focus in on the vital behaviors that are vital for a reason, and just focus on what you can do right now today. I feel like I'm getting on like a soapbox. I'm trying not to like go off on left turn tangents. One other thing that I had to do with my mindset is I had to own the fact that I am current tense, I am a leader. And so I had to think about what kind of leader I was being, because I think that sometimes I trick myself into thinking like, unless I have, 25 working coaches, I'm not really a leader. But that's not true, because I'm posting on my social media and people are following what I'm doing, and I am being a leader. So I had to think about, I am a leader. I'm not like working to become one. I should be working to become a better one, right? But I am one right now. So what kind of leader am I being? Am I being a leader that has integrity and that's doing the things behind closed doors? Am I walking the walk and not just talking the talk? Or am I posting an old picture of a really pretty salad, but driving to Chick-fil-A and eating fried chicken sandwiches in the park by myself in my car? Sometimes that has happened, right? Like, you just have to be honest with yourself. I've had to be honest with myself about what kind of integrity do I have as a leader, and am I okay with that? Some days there are going to be days where I'm totally fine eating the milkshake in the corner, hiding from my kids and not tell anybody. Like, that's just where I am that day, and that's fine. But if I'm doing that all the time, like, that's an issue, and I have to figure that out, right? So I think that sometimes you have to stop tricking yourself into believing that you're working into becoming a leader. Like, we are a leader. We are leaders in our social media spheres. We are leaders to anybody that knows that we're a Beachbody coach in our lives, whether it's face to face or just on the internet. And you just have to do a gut check. Are you being the kind of leader that you really want to be? And if you are, you do you, and you keep doing whatever it is that you're doing. And if you're not, then what is it that you want to change? Working into that, when I think about stuff that I want to change, I'm very much a people pleaser, and I'm very much a perfectionist. I'm a type 3. I'm an achiever, and I want all the things. I want to be the best at everything. I want to get all the titles and awards. I want people to think that I do a good job. And I have a very like all or nothing kind of personality. So I want to be able to say, starting today, I'm going to work on my business for 4 hours, and I'm going to check off every little thing on this pretty tracker every single day from now until I die. And every day is going to be perfect. And that's how, like, that's my personality. And if I can't do all those things, it's easier for me mentally to just not do any of it. It bothers me to not be able to check off every single thing on my list or every single thing on that tracker. And if I can't do them all, I might as well just not do any of them. And I've had to really shift my perspective on what is success. What does a successful day look like? I'm not going to be able to check off all the boxes every single day from now until I die. That's not a realistic thing. And so I've had to really embrace the mentality of that 1% better every single day, just a little bit better. And that's still better. That's still forward motion. That's still a step in the direction that I want to go, even if I'm not able to, become a 2-star diamond in like 2 months, like some people are able to do. Good for them. I'm not one of those people, and I have to be okay with that. So it doesn't have to be all or nothing, just a little bit, a 1% better every single day. What can you do to get yourself just a little bit more further along with where you want to be? And that's not just for business, that's also with health. I feel like I'm bouncing around a lot. I'm trying hard to like not just do this and be a weirdo looking at my notes and like look at the camera. But I want to make sure that I say everything. So that goes for your health too. So one thing that I wanted to, I guess, like give you something to go back with to your challengers too. Being pregnant and doing Beachbody has really helped me have a different perspective with health and fitness kind of things. And it's given me a couple of different perspective changes that I've been able to give to my challengers that I wanted to make sure and share today, because I think it applies to business too. So just a little background about me. So when I had my son, my older child, I didn't do Beachbody at all. And when I was pregnant with him, I literally did nothing. I did not work out ever. I did not try to eat healthy. I drove by a Zaxby's like every day from my school to my house. And like 3 days a week, I would stop and get the Zaxby's birthday cake milkshake. Like, it was bad. Like, it was balls to the wall. Like, I was going for it. And I gained like 55 pounds. And I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done to myself? Like, I've been so bad, whatever. Okay. So fast forward to this past year when I was pregnant with my daughter, and I'm like, I do Beachbody now, and I'm going to do all these prenatal workouts, and I'm going to drink my shake, and it's going to be great. And I like ate healthy and was doing like portion fix and to be mindset. And I gained 70 pounds. I gained more weight this time doing Beachbody than I did the first time when I didn't do a darn thing. So that has been very difficult for me. I feel like it's very unfair. So one of the things that I've learned from that is that I cannot control the way that my body responds to what I'm doing. The only thing I can control is what I'm actually doing. And I think that's true for my business as well, right? I can't control who says yes, who signs up, and who doesn't. All I can control is what I'm actually doing. And so I've had to kind of let go of what the results look like with both my own weight loss, being postpartum again, and also with my business, and just focus on what am I actually doing. And that's an attitude that I've shared with my challengers too, which I think it's been really helpful, because we've all gone through those spells with our weight loss where you're like, I'm doing every freaking thing and the scale's not moving and these pants still don't fit. Like, what the F is going on? You have to let that go. And you have to let that go with your business too. If you are working to to move where you want to be with your business, if you are doing the vital behaviors, if you are sending the invites, if you are posting on your social media, if you are having the conversations, you have to trust that eventually it's going to get you where you want to go. Just like when you're eating according to whatever plan you're following, if you're doing the workouts, if you're really doing the program, you have to trust that you're going to get the results when your body is ready to give you the results, right? You can't beat your body into submission. You also can't beat your business into submission. All you can do is just do the things and focus on your habits. Are you doing the habits consistently to get you where you want to go? If you are, that is all you can do. And you have to be okay with that. And you have to be able to say, I did everything that I could do. I ended the month at Success Club 4 or Success Club 20 or whatever, whether you hit your goal or didn't hit your goal. If you did all of the habits, that's good. That's success. That's all that you can control. And so I think that I've spent a lot of time focusing on the results and focusing on the Success Club numbers and focusing on the number on my paycheck every week or my volume or whatever numbers you want to say. And I haven't spent enough time focusing on, but what am I actually doing? Like there have been months that I've hit Success Club not because I did the work to hit Success Club, but because I got lucky because a customer lead or an old customer bought a new challenge pack. And I was like, oh, hey, look at me. I got some Success Club points. Like that's great. I personally don't consider that successful because I didn't do the work. And if I end the month at Success Club 0, but I filled out my tracker and I sent all the invites, I'm going to feel good about that Success Club 0 because I know that I did the work. I hope that this is making sense and that I'm not just like saying things that nobody understands except for me, because sometimes that happens. It's been a really long time since I've been like in teacher mode. So it's easier when you have teenagers who are like, what? When I know that I'm not making any sense. I only have like 2 more things. Okay. So the last couple of things that I wanted to say is just first, sometimes you're going to have to fake it till you make it. These kind of go together. So I'm going to say them both together. So the one idea is fake it until you make it. The other idea is you have to be okay with not being super excited and on fire every single day. There are going to be days where you are like jumping out of bed and so excited to like do your workout and post on your social media and check your messages because you're on, like your business has so much momentum and everything's going great and it's so much fun. Hip, hip, hooray. And then there are going to be days where the last freaking thing you want to do is sit down and do anything for your business because you are so tired or because your kid is driving you crazy or because everybody is telling you no or whatever it is. Those days are like when you're doing the workout. This happened in my morning meltdown workout today, where you're doing the workout and you're almost done with the minute or the reps or whatever it is. And the trainer's like, don't stop now. When you feel the burn, that's where you're going to get the results. And you're like, fuck you. You know what I'm talking about? You're like, and they're like, don't stop, keep going. Those days in your business where you're like, I hate this. I want to not do this today. Don't stop. Keep going. That's where you're going to get the results. It's not going to be on the days where you're super excited about life and everything is like roses and you're Snow White in the forest singing with the birds. Like that's not where your success is going to come from. It's going to come from building the discipline of doing the crap, doing the not sexy work, doing the drudgery when it feels like the last thing in the world that you want to do. You have to embrace that. You have to embrace the idea that you're not going to feel super excited every day. And that's okay. That doesn't mean that it's not for you. That doesn't mean that you've outgrown it. It just means that you're having an off day. And that's just normal life. It's the same way that sometimes I'm not always excited to be a mom of a 7-month-old baby. You know what I mean? It doesn't mean I don't love my kid. It just is that way sometimes. And I know that as a parent, my relationship with my kids has ups and downs, and I can be okay with that because I know that's just how it is. That's how it is with the business too. Like embrace that. That's just how it is. And on those days where it's the last thing that you want to do and you're trying really hard to embrace the drudgery, sometimes you have to just fake it till you make it. Alexis talks all the time about bringing energy putting a bunch of energy, positive energy, enthusiasm behind your invites and all that stuff, you have to figure out a way sometimes to just put on that face when you need to put on that face. Because I am really good at tricking myself into thinking like, well, you know what? I'm just in a really bad mood today. I'm not going to send any invites because I'm just not like mentally there today. So I'm just not going to do it. But really, I just don't want to do it. It doesn't have anything to do with like my mental state, really. I just don't want to. And I'm using it as an excuse. I have to fake it. I have to drink the fruit punch Energize and get myself pumped up with the Energize because I can't pump myself up by myself. Or I'll watch an episode, I really will do this. I'll watch an episode of The Office or New Girl and like laugh and get myself in a good mood. And then I'll do it when I'm in a better mood. Fake it till you make it. Do the thing and then get the power. I'm going to bring this back to the beginning. So when I realized that I had completely lost like all belief in myself because I had stopped doing the things. I had stopped doing power hours. I wasn't posting consistently on social media. I definitely wasn't reading personal development. I couldn't work out yet because I was recovering from a C-section. Like I wasn't doing the things, and I had to start doing the things again. And I had to just force myself to do it at first. I didn't want to. It is very difficult to go from doing 80-day obsession and literally getting in the best shape I've ever been in my life to gaining 70 pounds with a pregnancy, recovering from a C-section, and trying to go back into working out. That sucks. And it makes you feel like absolute crap. And it's kind of the same way with our business, right? Like when you go from things are going great and then something happened and knocked me off my game and knocked me out of my routine. And now I'm having to start from scratch, or I had to take a break for whatever reason. And now I'm getting back into it. That's kind of how it feels the same way, right? Like, man, I used to be so much stronger. I used to be able to do this so much easier. And now it feels really hard. And this really sucks. And I don't really want to do this. But I just have had to remind myself, I'm not going to get back to that best shape of my life, 80-day obsession, Whitney, by not doing the work. I'm not going to get back to really amazing momentum in my business, made diamonds in the first year of my business, Whitney, without doing the work. And that is a bitter pill to swallow some days. And that is a hard truth to accept, but it's just the truth. And sometimes you just have to tell yourself to suck it up. And that's really what I've had to do. And I knew that if I wanted to kind of get myself out of the really negative space that I was in postpartum this time around, if I wanted to get that belief back in myself, if I wanted to get my confidence back, if I wanted to really get started with losing the baby weight again and having an amazing transformation and showing people what Beachbody can do after 2 kids, after a C-section, what you can do for your business, being pregnant, having a baby, if I really want to do those things, like I say I do, I have to just suck it up and do the things. Fake it till I make it, even when I don't feel like it. And every single day that I've made myself do these things, I've gotten a little bit closer to feeling more like myself. And I've gotten a little bit more confidence, and I've gotten a little bit more belief in myself. And so that's what keeps me going. But to start, you have to just kind of suck it up and do it anyway. The very last thing I wanted to share with you guys is something that I'm doing that I'm going to share with my challengers that I think is just like an extra fun little thing. I'm very much a person, I love to like check things off my to-do list, and I like getting gold stars and things like that. So I made myself a way to give myself gold stars. So one thing that I'm doing is trying to focus on my habits, doing the things. And so what I did was I picked 4 different habits that I want to make sure that I'm focused on for the end of the year. And I color coded them and gave them all different colors. And so I took a blank calendar. This might be backwards in the camera. It probably is, but that's okay. You get the gist. It says countdown to 2020. And I have 3 pages of calendars from now until the end of 2019. And so every habit has a color. And so like when I do my PD, it gets a purple, like dot on the date. And when I do my workout, it gets a little blue check mark. And when I follow my nutrition plan, it gets a little green dot. And when I do my Bible study, it gets a little orange dot. So like every time I do the habits, I give myself a little colored dot. So at the end of every 30 days, which is one calendar page, I can look and see what have I really been consistent with? What have I not been consistent with? And kind of compare that to, well, what are my results right now? Like, am I seeing results with my weight loss? No? Okay, well, it's probably because there are only 2 green dots on there, which means I only followed my nutrition plan 2 days. You know what I mean? So that's something that I'm going to share with my challengers. If any of you guys or any of your challengers are like me and they like to get that like, check mark, you did a good job, Whitney. Like this is something that's very motivating. Maybe I guess it's the type 3 in me. But anyway, it's just a random idea that I had that I really am nerding out about. I'm excited about it. So I wanted to make sure and share that with you guys. And that's just a way to keep track of like, are you doing the things? Pick habits that you want to focus on that are going to help you get to where you want to go. So for me, it's very much like health and fitness oriented and personal development oriented, because that's what I need to focus on. I have got to focus on taking care of myself first. But you could do that for like filling out your business tracker or like sending invites every day or whatever it is that you wanted to focus on. So I think that's all I wanted to say. I had so many notes. I rewrote these like 3 times, you guys. I'm such a nerd. Yeah, I think that was it. I hope this has been helpful for at least one person.
Yeah. Girl, you were like questioning yourself half the time and everybody was loving it. It was so good. Because Whitney had said to me before the call, she was like, I want to send you my notes just to like make sure you check it out. And I was like, I trust anybody to speak on the team call because I want you guys to just speak without influence from me. I talk all the time. So the last thing you needed from me is talking. So you did an amazing job. Like seriously. And the fact that like, you made it so relatable to like not just moms, like even though you're a mom, like I love when I can hear someone speak and they're a mom, but they still give tips that like aren't just mom related. Like you gave mom related things, but you also gave things that are tangible to anybody. So I thought that was really awesome. If anybody has any questions in the chat box and they want to drop them in, go ahead. I just wanted to say a few things. One, I wanted to shout you out because the fact that like you went through the highs and the lows. I have like the same thing in my business, went through lots of highs and lots of lows. And a lot of people will just use this as an opportunity to give up, and you didn't. So you're a badass for that. I love that you talk about doing the thing to give you the confidence, because a lot of times we think we have to wait till we have the confidence to do the thing. So if you guys took away anything, remind yourself of that. And what else did you say? I wrote something down, but I don't understand what I wrote. Does anybody have any other questions? Nope. Okay. Yeah. So that was. Oh wait, who has a question?
I do.
Yay.
Jocelyn.
Yay.
So Whitney, I don't have any kids. I have so many women in my area though that are having their first or their second, and their postpartum is so horrible, and I can't really relate. I don't know what it is. Like, I mean, I understand like depression, anxiety, all that, but I can't tell them, you know, certain things because I haven't been there before. What would you maybe say in like to a mom who's going through postpartum before, like what should she really try to focus on besides like, you know, loving herself? But that's about all I can tell them. Like, you know, I can help you try to love yourself. Like, you know, what would you give advice to give advice, I guess?
You mean
If that
like,
makes sense.
you mean like people struggling like with mental health or with like postpartum hormones, or like what do you mean exactly? Sorry.
Well, I have a couple people who want to join and stuff, but their postpartum is just so hard, and they want to try and start it, but they just can't like get through. They use postpartum as almost like a crutch, and so they just don't push through it enough to become even a challenger. But they want to, they just don't push through it.
I think well, ultimately, I think my answer is probably going to be like just keep being there for them and like just give them time, because I know it's a little bit better with my second kid, but I know that I'll just speak for myself. With my first kid, it feels like every phase that you're in with your baby, it feels like it's going to last forever. So when you're talking to a mom, and I guess this goes for everybody, like if you're talking to a mom who's having, especially their first kid, and their baby is still like really young, that mom is honestly probably feeling like, oh my God, what have I done? I'm so tired all the time. I'm never going to sleep again. I'm always going to, like, they feel like the way that they feel right that second, like, I'm going to feel like this forever. Because that's how I felt. And so they might just be like really overwhelmed feeling like that. So I would tell people, it will get better. It will not always be it won't be like this right now forever. And so what I do with moms like right now that I talk to, I ask them, like, what is the thing that you feel like you're struggling with the most? Like, let's focus on you for a second. Like, what is it that you wish that you could do for yourself? Like, let's pick one thing. And it might just be like, spend 5 minutes at the kitchen table by yourself drinking your coffee. Or, hey, I found this recipe that other moms, on my team say that they really like because it's super easy or super fast or whatever. Like, I honestly would just give them time and be very encouraging and just supportive of, like, you will not always feel like this. I promise. Like, your baby's not going to be like this forever. I promise. What would you love to be able to accomplish right now today? And then whatever they say, help them figure out a way to do that. And then that will just show them that you're actually trying to help them. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Kind of like on the National Wake Up Call this week, where she was saying, like, you're not doing me a favor. Like, I'm trying to give you a gift. I really liked that because I struggle with that sometimes of like, no, you need to do me that favor. This is about me. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's what I would do. I would just ask them, like, what is one thing that you would love to be able to do tomorrow, and help them figure out a way to make that one thing happen. Like, no matter how big or how small they think it is. Cause you really do. I mean, other moms, I feel like, can be like, preach, this is the truth. But I felt like, oh my gosh, this is going to be the worst thing I've ever done. This was a huge mistake. And then you get past that like first few months and you're like, oh, okay, this is so bad. This is better.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Especially like saying that this will not be forever. I think that's the part where, because I tell them, like, self-love, pick like even a 5-minute thing you can do that will make you feel good. Like, your kids can survive for 5 minutes. Like, but you saying, this won't last forever. I guess in my mind, I always know that, but I don't have any kids. Like, I can do anything throughout my day. Like, I can change my day in a heartbeat, So thank you so much. That's perfect. I love it.
Yeah. And I'm not even a mom, and I was going to say, because you can apply that to, obviously it's super helpful for those of us, because I know not all of us are moms. So Whitney, that was really awesome. But you can apply that same theory to anybody that like comes to you with something that you don't understand what they're struggling with. So think about it in that way. Like, one of the things that I do, and I feel like I've just learned this after working with moms for 6 years as a coach, or even as challengers, I don't have kids, I try to understand them. I always ask, tell me more about like how you feel, or I just try to like dig a little bit deeper for them to help me understand. Like, if they tell me they're struggling with like a syndrome or a disease and I don't know about it, I ask them to just tell me a little bit more so then I can understand it a bit more. So if I run into that similar thing with other people, it just helps me understand it. And this is just a very great reminder, like what Whitney said, is that you take a step back and you focus that we're helping people. We are not just here to talk about 6 weeks of the work and get people signed up. Like, if you want to be a part of another MLM where people think that they're scammy and gross and salesy, you can do that. But that's why Beachbody is different, because we are a multi-level helping business. And yes, it takes more time, but if you don't have that patience, I'm going to be honest, it's probably not for you. So you have to have that patience, or you can do it, but you're going to stay at that same spot. And if you can really help people and understand that maybe you're not going to hit your goal tomorrow, but you will do it over time, it'll totally help. So awesome, guys. Well, thanks so much, Whitney. You are the bomb. If you guys found this helpful, I'm sure you did. Obviously, Whitney's awesome. I'll share it in the scene page, tag your team, make sure they watch it, share the recording, do all the things. I love you guys. Peace out. You're the bomb. Thank you, Whitney. See you later, guys.